Here's a GRE algebra question. Let's take a look. If the absolute value of x plus 1 is less than or equal to 5, and the absolute value of y minus 1 is less than or equal to 5, what is the least possible value of the product x times y? Well, let's start with a quick little refresher about the absolute value symbol if you're not super familiar with it. The absolute value symbol basically tells us the distance from 0. So for instance, on a number line, the number 3, the absolute value of 3, would be a distance of 3 away from 0. And the absolute value of negative 3 would also be a distance of 3 away from 0. If you're looking for a more operative definition, something that we can just kind of put into practice maybe, you could think of the absolute value symbol as turning whatever's inside of it positive, or 0, right? Because the absolute value of 0 is equal to 0. But otherwise, it turns it positive. Okay, so with that said, let's take a look at these. There is an algebraic way to evaluate this. But in the interest of time, let's just kind of use common sense and pick our numbers to see what this is. What value, or what's the maximum value of x that would make this statement true? If I go all the way as high as I can with x, what's the biggest number that could be? Well, it would be 4. And here's why, right? Because 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. If x is greater than 4, then I've gone over this, right? So I could say that x must be less than or equal to 4. And then if I go in the other direction, if I go negative, what's the very smallest number that x could be? Well, it would be negative 6, right? Because negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5, and the absolute value of negative 5, again, is equal to 5. So that means that x has to be greater than negative 6. Now, it can be any number in between here, and I encourage you to try it out, right? Negative 1.2, 3, 3.7, right? All of those numbers would work for x. But these are the outer limits of it. Well, how about for y? We do the same thing. What's the biggest number y could be? Well, that would be 6, right? Y can't be any greater than 6 because 6 minus 1 is equal to 5, and that's the top of our range. So I could say that y must be less than or equal to 6. And then on the lower end, what number gets us right to the limit? Well, it's negative 4, right? Because negative 4 minus 1 is equal to 5. Okay, so I've figured out individually for x and y what the maximum and minimum possible values are. Now I just need to figure out what the least possible or minimum possible value of x times y is. So let's figure that out. Well, a lot of people might go right to the smallest x and the smallest y and say, okay, great, negative 6 times negative 4, but that makes a positive number, right? Negative 6 times negative 4 is positive 24. So in order to minimize this product, in order to make this product as small as possible, we want a negative and a positive, right? A negative and a positive. So how about we take the, in absolute terms, the most negative, right? And the most positive, and multiply those numbers together. When we do negative 6 times 6, we get negative 36, right? I can't make any numbers smaller than that. And I would encourage you to try, right? But just on a logical level, this is the smallest it's going to be. So the answer to this question is negative 36. For more GRE tips and tricks, or to sign up for my online course, follow the link on my profile.